Hi YouTube, my name is Brandy. I'm making this video to tell my story about how my life changed 5 years ago. I woke up one morning to go to work and I noticed on my right foot the toes were numb, and I thought maybe um, I slept wrong and they were just gonna, you know, feel better soon. When your leg falls asleep and then it tingles and feels numb, but then it goes back fine. That's what I was thinking happened to my toes for whatever reason. But I got up and got ready and was paying attention to my feet, but it still wasn't clearing up. Um, so by the time I finished getting ready for work, I had to drive. So I'm thinking, wow, okay, my toes are still numb, so like I have to drive with my right foot. I could still feel with my foot, but it was just my toes. You push down. So I was just like, wow, am I gonna be able to drive? So anyway, I did get in the car and I was testing it, and I was able to still drive. So I proceeded to work, got to work, and the same feeling was there. I'm like, okay, what is really going on? So after my coworkers got there and we got started working, I was in the healthcare, taking care of the elderly, people with Alzheimer's and dementia. So we got started getting to work, started working. And about an hour in, I told my coworker, a couple of them, I was like, wow, um, I woke up, I told them the story of how I woke up and what I felt, and that it's still there and it hasn't went away or died down any or anything. And so some of them were like, did you give a shower to anybody? Maybe it got wet, your toes got wet. And I'm like, no, I said I woke up like this. And they're like, okay. Um, so I continued working and went throughout the day just paying attention to my toes and noticed that nothing different happened, that it was still there. And so I got off of work and went to my boyfriend's house and stayed there the weekend. But I told him about it, and he wanted to take me to the ER, and I was like, no, I'm okay. The next day came, and this now has made my legs weak. Like I'm having a difficult time walking around the house. I'm holding on to the walls and furniture to keep up. And now him and his mom are telling me that they want to take me to the ER. And I'm like, no, I'm passing it off as being dehydrated because at work I do a lot of moving around, and I didn't take a lot of time to drink a lot. So I was just passing it off as being dehydrated. And I was like, no, I'm okay. I'll be okay. And I just drank a lot of water and fluid, you know. So the next day came, the third day, which, wow, I don't know. I left to go home in the morning and to take my son to school. And I don't know how I got home because I really couldn't feel the bottom half of my body, really. Not my foot, not my toes, my body, the bottom half of my body. I couldn't hardly feel from the waist down. And so when I went to tell my son to get ready for school, he didn't have to go. So I said, okay, I'm going to the ER. I'm going to take myself to the ER. And again, I don't know how I got in the car and drove there because I couldn't feel. I couldn't feel my feet. I couldn't feel it all. And so I made it to the hospital. But by the time I got there and was trying to get out, I couldn't get out the car. I couldn't get out the car. And so some man seen me and he came over to ask if I needed help, if I was okay. I told him a little bit of like I can't walk, I can't feel, so no, I can't make it over there. So he offered to go get a wheelchair, and he went and got it, and he came back and he pushed me to the ER desk. And so they called me back. They asked about what was going on. I told them my symptoms, and so they were in the room. They were testing me, doing blood work and doing different things to see what was going on. Since they wanted to do more testing, they admitted me, sent me upstairs, and by the time I got up there, I was paralyzed from the waist down. I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't move anything. At least before, even though I couldn't hardly feel anything, I was able to move around, I was able to move my toes, move my ankles, move my legs. I just couldn't feel. But by the time I got admitted upstairs in the hospital, I couldn't move anything from my waist down, and I couldn't feel, so I was paralyzed from the waist down. So by the time they were being in the hospital, while I was there, they tested me, did scans. They told me I had lesions on my brain, lesions on my spine. They came up with different, first it was transverse myelitis they were trying to tell me I had. And then I guess transverse myelitis starts from the bottom and works its way up. So that's what they were trying to say I had. But then they said I had multiple sclerosis. That's what my diagnosis was. Oh, let me backtrack. After transverse myelitis, they tried to say I had Guillain-Barré syndrome. I think that's how you pronounce it, Guillain-Barré syndrome. And it is had similar symptoms of what I was going through, but by the time I left the hospital, after some days, the final diagnosis was multiple sclerosis. So, okay, now I have a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, and I'm paralyzed from the waist down. This is where the journey begins. From then, February 3rd, till now, I have been through so much. I've been through so much. Like, for me to be here telling my story is amazing. What I went through, I shouldn't even be here. I shouldn't even be here. But I am, and I'm telling my story. That's what made me make this video, because I am still here. and I'm gonna tell my story. But I will be making videos of me telling of my symptoms and different things I went through, and just, stuff I've been going through on this journey so far. But if you like, subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to hear future videos, hit the notification bell. Like the video, comment, and see you next time.